I love and need my alone time and can easily keep myself busy. I'll go to the gym, play a game, watch some YouTube, or play basketball. My girlfriend, on the other hand, cannot have time to herself, and it's starting to be too much. She doesn't really have a lot of friends, so when I'm not with her, all I get are texts like, "Be nice if I had a boyfriend to cuddle," or "I miss you." Once in a while is fine, but when it's only been 24 hours since we've seen each other, it gets annoying. I shouldn't feel guilty and obligated to see her when I see her all the time. Anyone else having this issue? And if so, what's the solution? Story 1. Been there a few times and it always ended badly for me. The best thing to do is communicate. I'm not good at that part. Story 2. My friend celebrated a marriage proposal at a restaurant a couple of years back. An older couple listened in and asked what the occasion was, and the wife offered some wisdom. You choose your partner, but a partner is not your life. A partner is someone you share your life with. You have to have your own life for that to be the case. Make sure you have something to do besides each other. That has really stuck with me and is something I share with younger couples I meet. Story 3. I've been through this a bit. You have to set firm boundaries and make it clear that you aren't her only source of entertainment. It's not your responsibility to give her hobbies. Trust me, I've tried, and you can't make them get hobbies or friends. They have to do it themselves. You could approach it from the perspective that she is setting herself up for failure by investing all her time and emotions into one person. Eventually, you'll get tired of her being needy, and that could lead to a breakup. Story 4. Been there, couldn't work it out. I felt like it was my responsibility to make sure she's not bored. I could never enjoy hobbies guilt-free, and I lost some friends. It made me miserable. Obviously, you should try to talk it out, but sometimes you're just not compatible. Story 5. That's a red flag. This type of dependence doesn't improve with time. Talk to her honestly and explain how it affects you. If she can sympathize and work on it, that's great. Story 6. Hi, I'm a stage 5 clinger, and I would like to add a few comments. I know I'm needy. I grew up in a large family, so becoming an adult and being on my own was less exciting. I just like being around the people I love. Quality time is my love language. I warned my boyfriend, now husband, 1 month into dating that I was needy because I didn't want to surprise him. He liked playing video games undisturbed for 18 hours a day on weekends, and I would love to spend that time with him instead. The pandemic was fantastic because I was able to spend so much time with him. Even today, after 13 years, when I'm at the office, I text him a few hours in to let him know I miss him. Here are a few things that helped. 1. We schedule time together, giving me quality time to look forward to, and we have something to do together. Even if it's just running errands on the weekends, or I ask him to go for a walk after dinner or watch a few episodes of a shared favorite show. He takes breaks while playing video games to come say hi or spend 15 minutes with me, and he's genuinely happy to stop by. Sometimes we do different things in the same room. I just like being in a full house. We have a computer room and a craft room together. We do different things, but together. We adopted pets. I have 2 dogs and a cat, and taking care of them gives me something to direct a lot of my love at. I go to therapy in general. It helps with some anxiety I have from childhood trauma, and some of that could be interpreted as separation anxiety. It's a rule in our house that we always eat dinner together. Even if it's quick, we talk about our day and genuinely take interest in each other. Now, with all that being said, I'd still go out with friends or do social things, and he would never be my sole form of entertainment. That's not his job. But I would be okay with spending all day every day with him. He likes his solitude, so we worked out a middle ground. Story 7. How old are you and how old is she? Everyone needs alone time. It is healthy and prevents people from going mad. Your girlfriend needs some hobbies or should spend more time with her friends. Men often become their girlfriend's source of entertainment, and it isn't healthy. I've been there and ended up resenting her because she couldn't entertain herself, so it always fell to me. You need to tell her that while she might not need space and time to herself, you do. She will end up smothering you, and you will break up with her because of it. Story 8. Get a second girlfriend so that they can entertain each other. That's at least how you solve this issue when you have it with cats. It should work the same. Story 9. Not a complete red flag, but a really dark orange flag. It's like one Pantone shade away from red. This should be communicated. Story 10. Not saying your relationship is one, but what you described is common in anxious avoidant relationships. I would communicate how much personal time you want and when you'll get back to her. Responding to texts is a low priority when I'm focused on whatever. Healthy couples spend time apart. Her feeling alone or bored when she's apart from you isn't your problem. If you cut down your personal time because she summons you, you will start to resent her. On the other hand, those texts could just be shows of affection. Sometimes a simple, "I miss you" exchange warms the heart. If you feel stressed to go back to her while she isn't really asking, it's time to examine why you feel the obligation. In my opinion, everyone has needs for hobbies and friends. One should not replace those needs with a romantic partner. Story 11. Find a new girlfriend. I mean, just kidding, but really set a boundary and be willing to walk away if this behavior gets progressively worse and she doesn't respect your wishes. Tell her you need your own space, and it's not that you don't like her. I'm not really sure if there's much you can do to change her situation yourself. Story 12. First, tell her how you feel about it. If nothing changes, then the few situations I've seen like that end up with her trying to guilt you into catering to her insecurities or boredom of doing everything with her, and progressively placing the blame on you if you don't comply because you don't care about her. Basically, it will end up in an emotional struggle where she will prioritize her feelings over yours, because if she had enough empathy, she would have understood your explanation. Story 13. I've been through a few of these relationships. I tried two approaches: sacrificing my personal time, which led to burnout and losing myself, and making it clear from the start that I need personal time, which also failed. You either try to strike a balance or find someone who can occupy her time with a constructive hobby, not binge watching TikTok and Instagram all day. Story 14. Red flag. One of my main criteria for my next partner is that they have activities and hobbies they enjoy doing without me. I'm tired of finding someone who just latches on and follows me around. Story 15. Honestly, seeing friends in this type of relationship is not healthy. The significant other becomes completely dependent on you, and most of the time, it starts to annoy your friends that you leave early, can't hang out, or just keep looking at your phone constantly. I basically lost a friend for 6 months because of this type of relationship. You need to address it now. Sit down and have a talk with her, explaining this is how you like to live and need to feel your happiest. If she can't accept it, then you need to figure out your options from there. Story 16. Maybe you're not meant for each other. You need someone more detached, and she needs someone more attached. Sometimes, even if you like each other, it doesn't mean you're meant for each other. Story 17. Do you all do actual activities together? Do you include her in your hobbies? It sounds like you want a detached girlfriend, and she wants someone around. You are not compatible. Story 18. I'm telling you right now, get out before it's too late. This is an energy vampire if I've ever seen one. If someone doesn't have hobbies and can't keep themselves happy alone, they'll make you unhappy. Story 19. Ah man, there's some good advice here, but I have to be a downer about it. There's going to come a time when you will date someone who just doesn't seem like she cares. When you lay your head on her lap, she's going to move over and leave you on the couch. You're going to pray for someone to want to be around you like that all the time. Then you'll see her giving someone else all that attention and think, damn, I kind of need that right now. Go for the honest conversation, but be gentle. You don't know what you have until it's gone. Story 20. The funny thing about being romantically involved with someone is that if you are not happy being yourself by yourself, you won't be happy with someone else. You will always crave being with that person to the detriment of the relationship. I had an ex who was like this, but to the extreme. I'm talking just dropped off at home after spending the day or weekend together. Then the texts start coming. I miss you. Wish you were here. I wish you wanted to spend as much time with me as I want to spend with you. I would inevitably lose my cool and tell her to knock it off as it's clingy and annoying. Not to mention the fact we'd been in each other's faces for the whole weekend, and I wanted some time to myself. Then she would apologize via text. I would forgive her. Then she'd start again. I would actually lose my temper because she went straight back to the same behavior again, and I was seriously tired of it. Then she would start calling me to apologize. Then she would call the home phone to apologize there. It was exhausting, emotionally draining, and toxic. What you need to say to her is the following. I appreciate that you want to spend all your time with me, but currently, I feel like I am being smothered by you. I enjoy and cherish our time with each other, but at the same time, I need to have time to myself to do the things that I enjoy. It's not that I don't want to be with you, it's just that carrying on like this is not healthy for our relationship. I want you to be happy, have your own hobbies, and be fulfilled without me having to be around all the time. If that doesn't suit you, then maybe we should seriously reconsider if this relationship is going to last. This next bit will sound very cold and harsh, but it's important. Don't be afraid of her being upset if you want to end the relationship. If you're not happy, then what's the point? If you're unhappy with her and stay with her anyway, you'll come to resent her. Her happiness shouldn't come at the cost of your own. Story 21. You have to make sacrifices to be in a relationship, so your alone time will have to be reduced a bit, or some days sacrificed to spend time with her. It becomes a problem if you have no alone time anymore, though. Story 22. I live with my boyfriend and I still text him multiple times during the day that I miss him. I have plenty of things to do, but I do miss him. Have you asked her whether she actually struggles to keep herself entertained? Maybe help her find inspiration for a new hobby? This is also helpful because while hanging out, you can do your own thing. If it gets to the point where you get annoyed, it might be time to have a conversation where you express that you don't like her way of communicating, which makes you feel guilty. If she just wants reassurance, it could be that just sending a heart or "I love you" might be enough. Hobby-wise, you could try taking her to the gym. I was too socially anxious to go alone, but with my boyfriend I got comfortable and now I enjoy going by myself. Maybe cooking or baking can also be a couple's activity. On the more creative side, there could be digital drawing, painting, sewing, working with clay, jewelry making, crocheting, journaling. There is a lot of inspiration and easy starter projects on TikTok. Maybe introduce her to some games that could interest her. Sims, Stardew Valley, Animal Crossing, Minecraft, Dave the Diver, etc. are easy to get into. Takes Two is fun together. If there's truly nothing that can get her excited, then, well, what does she even do all day? Story 23. Set strong boundaries that reflect what you need. It's up to her to figure out how to respect them. You can't make her feel any way about it or change her behavior yourself. It's not your job to get her to adapt. If she can't adapt to very reasonable boundaries, then it becomes a red flag. Story 24. Get her into video games? Just Dance, Animal Crossing, or maybe something even more accessible to the casual or new gamer. Story 25. She doesn't know if you don't tell her. You can say it in a kind way. Maybe encourage her to find things to occupy her time. Story 26. She is needy. You are not, and it annoys you. You both are not compatible. Save yourself time and trouble and break up now. That is a massive red flag for me personally. Story 27. This is precisely the reason I ended my last relationship. Someone with very few friends and no hobbies of their own is now a huge red flag for me. Story 28. You have to tell her you need your alone time. It's hard, but it's much worse if you don't talk about it with her now. Story 29. Tell her to get a hobby. Watch YouTube and learn how to cook something. You see, this is why I'm single. Story 30. I got stuck in one of these relationships, and it did not end well. I had to rebuild my whole life again. Now, I am on the opposite spectrum in relationships. It took me 5 years to move in with my current boyfriend and a lot longer to realize I can prioritize a relationship and not lose my independence. If talking and constantly setting boundaries doesn't work, then leave. It might sound harsh, but no relationship should make you feel trapped. Whether your girlfriend realizes it or not, what she is doing is highly manipulative. Also, your job in a relationship isn't to be a full-time entertainer. One person can't be everything to another person. Story 31. Get her watching reality shows like 90 Day Fiancé, Real Housewives of Location, and Vanderpump Rules. You will never see her again. I haven't seen my wife in months. Story 32. Neither one of you is in the wrong here. You're just incompatible, but this is a common issue that people can address. It's definitely something that can be worked on with open communication and some compromises. Does your girlfriend really not have any hobbies? Or does she have things she likes to do but prioritizes quality time with you more? Story 33. I had an ex who would rarely let me go out to see friends, and when she did, she would constantly message me to come home. She once called me 17 times just to be on the phone with me while I was watching a movie next door with my cousin. Needless to say, I'm glad that person is gone. Story 34. I used to feel that way until I got older and realized no one else was responsible for my entertainment. That's for me to figure out. It takes growing up and communicating to your girlfriend that you need downtime for recharging. Story 35. Sounds to me like she's just trying to be a loving girlfriend, but it's obvious your love languages aren't matching. Story 36. Have you tried to teach her how to cook or do housework? I mean, if she doesn't do much, she might as well do that while listening to music. Story 37. Encourage her socially and support her to get there. From your post, it's all she wants. No one can be a single source. That's unhealthy. Story 38. Wow, this is my best friend. She just misses you, but I would set boundaries and reply with things like, I miss you too. I'll see you on insert day. If you get more texts, I'm hanging out or doing activity. I love you and I'll talk to you later. Can't wait to see you on insert day. I have felt annoyed, but after we had a talk about communication and boundaries, we are great. She comes across as needy, but you may also just not have the same love language. People like this aren't always needy. Sometimes the other person needs more personal time. Story 39. Navigating the tightrope of togetherness and individuality in a relationship is a delicate dance. From experience, I can say it's crucial for both partners to cultivate their interests, passions, and friendships outside of the relationship. The healthiest bond is two complete lives enhancing each other, not two people trying to fill gaps within themselves. Try facilitating a conversation about her aspirations and interests beyond the relationship. Sometimes a gentle nudge towards self-discovery is all it takes. Remember, a relationship should be a partnership where you cheer each other on towards personal growth, not a crutch that keeps you from walking on your own. Good luck. Story 40. Never lose your sense of self. You are you and they are them. Once you meld lives together, it can become a chaotic mess. Many couples face issues because they are always around each other and have no time to genuinely miss one another. I directly tell my partner that they are clingy. I love my solitude and make it clear through actions and words that I need alone time. You must communicate that as soon as possible, or she might take it as a sign that you aren't interested in her. Don't develop a habit that you could have stopped. Story 41. From experience as the girlfriend in this situation, has she recently moved in with you or away from her town or anything like that? Unfortunately, what happened to me was I moved states to live with my partner, where I had no friends or anyone else I knew. My partner also hated leaving the house. I felt a bit trapped, which made me lose interest in most of my hobbies. He was also a porn addict, so every time I left the house, it was hard for us to have healthy space. Could have some deeper meaning. I would suggest having a conversation about that. She might have a reason for the dependency, and if you can figure that out, it will help solve the issue. Story 42. She is going to cheat on you soon, and then you will have peace because she is not sending you texts every 5 minutes. Story 43. Yep, this is definitely not going to end well on the current trajectory. Have you all done the love languages test? It's one way to understand how our emotional needs are met. It's not the ultimate answer, just one piece of the puzzle. Also, encourage her by expressing how excited you are to see her grow in a new hobby or interest and that you want to hear about her successes and lessons learned. Maybe she's never had a true supporter before. Good luck. Story 44. Been there, done that. It is vital in a relationship that one person is not the sole entertainer for the other partner. Both should have activities to keep their day busy, such as hobbies, time with friends, genuine interests, or work. If your girlfriend doesn't have these, it can be quite unbearable. Communicate that she needs to develop her own interests if she wants to be in the relationship. You are not there to entertain her whenever she is bored. Story 45. I had this. I married her, and it just got worse under the same roof all the time. She grew to resent my hobbies and my alone time. Whenever I am doing something that doesn't involve her, she felt unloved. What did she do when she was alone before she met you? Story 46. I suggest looking into attachment styles, trying to get her to read The Empowered Wife by Laura Doyle and listen to her podcast by the same name, and being honest about your needs in a kind way. Meeting her need for connection should help her feel better about meeting your need for space. Good luck. It's rough to navigate, especially if you're young. Story 47. My recommendation. If you aren't already, overcommunicate how much you love her. Flowers once a month randomly, date nights once a week, and sporadic things like chocolates or whatever. Ask her about long-term plans and that stuff. Mix in questions like, what do you see yourself doing for fun? Encourage her to do that stuff. Story 48. Tell her she needs to get her own life as nicely as possible. Her relationship shouldn't be her entire world. And as much as you care for her, you think it's an unhealthy way to live. She would be happier with passions, loves, and interests to share with you instead of trying to share you. Honestly, it's a major red flag for me, and I'd be out. I couldn't deal with that. They will never be truly happy until they figure their own life out. They seem to jump in and develop love quickly too. It wouldn't surprise me to hear she's ready to move in, get married, or have a kid within under a year of being together. Prepare for some tears, and stress that you are still into her if you aren't going to end the relationship. It's time to get friends, hobbies, and interests. I'd personally focus on hobbies and interests before friends or animals, as it's not really getting at the root of the issue. Do not believe she will understand these things by hints or clues. You have to be brutally honest. Story 49. I used to be like your girlfriend, so I sympathize. I had no friends of my own and was too dependent on him for my happiness. What changed is I developed my own self-esteem and confidence. Getting a hobby, for me it was going to the gym, charity shopping, and later my cats helped, but also just learning it's okay to be alone, and it doesn't mean that you need to share every moment of your life with your significant other. Some of that is literally getting up out of the door and pushing yourself, some is therapy, and understanding why attachment issues developed. Oh, and I mentioned cats. Get a cat. Then she'll want to see the cat more than you. Story 50. I'm going to say anxious avoidant relationship. Talk, but be kind about it. Don't assume. Ask her what she is looking for when she texts you. Does she expect you to always be there? Does she want an immediate response? How does she feel when you don't reply? Maybe all she needs is an "I miss you too" at some point during the day, or a picture of what you are doing, or a link to a cat meme, or just a message saying, "I'll be immersed in a game for a few hours, but I'll text you good night later." Why does it stress you to text her every day? How much time does that take? Or how does it make you feel? You have to find out how much you are willing to give and if you are compatible. Otherwise, you will just torture each other. Honestly, being the anxious one in an anxious avoidant relationship isn't fun. She might just need some regular reassurance to make all the difference, and it might not even cost you a lot of time. Most of the time, it's just about insecurity. She wants to know you care, but you do need to talk and figure out each of your needs and if you can make it work for both of you. Story 51. Maybe use statements like, when you do something, I feel a certain way. Discuss how alone time doesn't mean you don't like her. It's just a personal need. She seems to have anxious attachment with a fear of abandonment. You shouldn't feel guilty. A space doesn't mean a rift is happening. It's a healthy part of any relationship. Story 52. I'm not trying to be that person, but if you can find a way to teach yourself to love reading books, you'll never be bored again. Seriously, nothing compares to getting lost in a good story. Some days, hours will go by before I realize how much time has passed since I've looked up. Here are some recommendations to get her started with really great stories that are not complex, featuring strong female leads. The Women by Kristen Hanna. In the Unlikely Event by Judy Blume. Call It What You Want by Alyssa Derogatis. The Party by Robin Harding. Sister Stardust by Jane Green. Romantic Comedy by Curtis Sittenfeld. I Hope This Finds You Well by Natalie Sue. These are some semi-recent reads that made me laugh out loud, were easy to follow, and had characters and stories that stood out to me. I know you're searching for much-needed alone time, but maybe with a book, you could be together while she is enjoying her own thing. It's a win-win for you both. Best of luck. Story 53. I had one of those. Notice I said had. When I realized she was basing all of her happiness and entertainment on me, I decided I wanted a partner, not a shadow, and ended it. Story 54. I've been in this exact situation. You have to communicate your needs. Instead of telling her how I felt, like a mature adult would do, I just started missing her calls and pushing her away. Unsurprisingly, the relationship didn't last. Learn from my mistake. Your relationship can still work, but only if you can communicate your feelings. Story 55. Man, I love my alone time too, but getting clingy texts after 24 hours sounds rough. Maybe gently nudge her towards some hobbies like a knitting club or pottery class. Bonus points if it's something hilarious you can watch her creations unfold with. Just remember, a happy girlfriend with a new crochet octopus hat is a good thing. Story 56. Have a talk about your need for alone time and suggest she finds hobbies to enjoy solo. Set a routine that balances time together and apart. This helps both of you get what you need. Story 57. I used to be like this, but it's codependent and not healthy. It's also not a great look for her, but I wouldn't tell her that explicitly. She really needs to work on developing her own life and interests because her life will exist with or without you. Maybe this is morbid, but try explaining to her that even if you stay together for the rest of your life, she will spend time alone. It's best that she learns to enjoy it. Either way, that's going to be a huge fight for you, but you're right. Story 58, you're going to have to do the thing that our gender often dreads. You're going to have to initiate the conversation on this matter. The wisest thing to do would be to find out why she does this. What is it that she's afraid of, and go from there. Story 59. Being a little clingy is better than nothing at all. Be careful what you wish for. You might not like what you get. Having some boundaries is great, but once you change someone, you can't change them back. Women often do this to men to train them, and then both begin to become unattractive to each other. Story 60. Reassurance goes a long way. I'm in a long-distance relationship, and making my partner feel comfortable is the most important aspect. Let your partner know where you're going, engage in small talk, and comfort her when she's alone and you're out. Ease her mind. My girlfriend does not have many friends, so it's even more important to keep her in the loop, as it's more important to her than you'd think. Story 61. Not going to lie, my current partner is like this. Even a few hours after I leave, I get texts. If I'm honest, I entertain it a little. I say I miss her more and that it would be great if we could be together. But I make sure I have time to myself, and she understands that. We talked about doing our own things and having time alone. I do my best to give myself me time, but I won't lie, especially since we moved in together, I've had less alone time. That being said, I do still have time for hobbies, but my alone time on my phone is usually spent together on our phones now. Story 62. Ask her about any hobbies or skills she'd like to take up and encourage her to pursue them. I've had this problem with my boyfriend, where I'd find myself waiting for him to be free to do fun things. Be nice and let her know that she deserves to explore herself and her interests whenever you're not around. It can be fun to talk about the experiences you've had the next time you see each other. My boyfriend was very frustrated with this, and it wasn't a nice conversation to have at the time. So, don't punish her for wanting to spend time with you. Remind her that you'll still be there after she's done enjoying her time to herself. It takes time to fall out of the routine of expecting to see your boyfriend as soon as he's free, in my experience. But it'll come gradually. Help her with words of encouragement and assurance. Story 63. Learn about attachment styles. There's a great book called Attached, and some questionnaires online to find your own style. I'm pretty sure she has a high, anxious style, probably combined with some insecurities, which is fine. It's not your job to fix it, but once both of you know about it, you can work together to find a balance. It's completely doable. The book has a great quote. Attachment principles teach us that most people are only as needy as their unmet needs. This is sometimes referred to in attachment literature as the dependency paradox. The more effectively dependent people are on one another, the more independent and daring they become. Story 64. Tell her to get a hobby or break up with her. It's not going to get any better, and you're not her babysitter or there to fix her life. Just tell her to get a life. Story 65. This is not good, my friend. She needs to grow up. You can't have your own space if she doesn't have her own. We all need to find a way to be secure in ourselves and enjoy solo time. If you really like her, get her a cooking class or encourage her to pick up a hobby with others. Story 66. I'm a woman, but I feel like men often interpret things more seriously than they truly are. I message my boyfriend stuff like that at times, but it's always playful. I'm still happy on my own, but I just like to let him know I miss him and care about him when I think of him, because I think it's a nice gesture. Why do you have an instinct to feel guilty? Is she actually feeling bad alone? Or is she just showing she loves you in a verbally affectionate way? I have always had trouble understanding how men interpret things. If my boyfriend says he misses me, I never feel guilt either. I think it's sweet. I think he can be happy on his own and still think of me and miss me at the same time. Story 67. I feel like you need to communicate. Coming from a girlfriend who can't really keep herself entertained, my boyfriend and I try to find compromises. Both of us know that I can be needy or dependent sometimes, and we both need space apart, but both sides matter equally. We just need to find a way to make it work. It's also helpful to remember that, as annoying as it may be, think of the positive. She enjoys your presence so much she wants to be around you all the time. Consider how hard it is to be around one person constantly, so she must really like you. Story 68. Give it a few months and you'll be back here posting. My girlfriend left me because I didn't spend enough time with her. I miss her so much, poor me. I'm only joking, by the way. Not many things kill relationships faster than codependency. Story 69. I'm getting texts like, "It would be nice if I had a boyfriend to cuddle." Text back, "It would be nice if I had a girlfriend who had a life outside of me. It would be nice if I didn't have to be her constant source of entertainment." Story 70. Red flag. Discuss it with her. Set boundaries. If she doesn't cooperate, it may be time for a separation. Story 71. Get a girlfriend who is compatible with your lifestyle. People always try to fit square pegs into round holes and then wonder what the problem is. Story 72. Run for your life. You'll be smothered. She will be jealous of you spending time with friends and on hobbies. I speak from experience. Story 73. Does she work or go to school? How does she have that much time on her hands to smother you? Just talk to her. Suggest that she needs to find her hobbies. Story 74. Just communicate to her that you're the kind of person who likes space, and it doesn't need to be physical all the time. In fact, you enjoy your alone time at least once a day or week. If she wants someone who is going to be around to cuddle her all the time, she may need to find somebody else, and that's okay. Tell her that you care about her, but you're not the type who wants physical touch and quality time with others as much as she does. Then, explain to her how much you're comfortable with and maybe plan those times together. You can also suggest times to hang out and do fun activities that aren't cuddling but are enjoyable for both of you. I would also encourage you to help her find some healthy female friends that she can start spending time with, like spouses of your current friends or trusted friend groups. Story 75. Just communicate. If something bothers you, then say something rather than assume she would know if you never told her. It baffles me how people get annoyed at their partner for a behavior but don't say so and expect the behavior to change. Just explain that you like hanging out with them but not all the time, and set expectations on what is reasonable and what crosses the line where it starts to get frustrating. Also, maybe don't say frustrating, but explain how it makes you feel guilty and upset when she sends those types of messages while you are trying to get your personal time. The only thing I could see becoming an issue is this could make her afraid of upsetting you and less likely to send any messages like, "I miss you." A balancing act, I guess. Anyway, you should be working together to find a solution that works for both of you against the issue rather than against each other. Story 76. My wife and I have discussed many times about the different friends and acquaintances we have who got into a relationship where one side had no real hobbies. It never ended well. The hobbyist will want to pursue their interests, and the non-hobbyist will become a constant barrier and source of frustration. Resentment builds up on both sides as the hobbyist is kept from doing what they love, and the non-hobbyist convinces themselves that this means they are unloved. At some point, the hobbyist tries to involve the non-hobbyist in their hobbies, but it goes poorly as they aren't really interested. If you truly care for this person, the only way out without a breakup is to talk about it honestly. Make it clear you're not saying they are a problem, but that this difference between the two of you is a problem that you want to resolve together. It's not you versus them. It's both of you versus the issue. Good luck. Story 77. After 7 years of marriage and having a child, I've finally found relief from this exact situation when my wife got into plants and gardening. I've tried getting her into sewing, arts, the gym, outdoor activities, and many other things. But plants got her, though. Story 78. Many of us have dealt with relationships where one person becomes the other's entire world. While it's endearing to be valued, there's a thin line between affection and suffocation. Suggest activities you can both do separately, or encourage her to reconnect with her old hobbies or interests. Initiating a discussion about the importance of personal growth and independence might help. This conversation should be about setting boundaries with empathy and understanding. Emphasize that for the health and longevity of the relationship, you both need fulfilling lives outside of one another. If she's receptive to that, it's a good sign. If not, it might be time to evaluate if this dynamic can change or if there are fundamentally mismatched aspirations about how a relationship should function. Remember, you are not her keeper, and it's not selfish to want to enjoy your life too. Story 79. What if it is the boyfriend who is way too clingy and won't listen to my boundaries of having self-care and alone time? Story 80. This happened to me twice. Once while in college, and it honestly ended the relationship because I was always frustrated. The second time is with my fiancée. We had an open conversation, and it started with her joining me for some activities I assumed she wouldn't want to do. We watched a Super Smash Bros. Tournament together, and now it's been a constant evolution and compromise. We both understand we have our own lives, but I compromised by spending most weeknights as quality time with her. 5 years and still going strong. Communication is key. Story 81. It's good that she misses you. You can't have new stories to tell her if you don't go and experience things. There are some things you can do with her. For instance, if you ever decide to tailgate at a football game, take her with you and teach her how to be a good game day girlfriend. She'll love it. Story 82. I used to be like your girlfriend, dependent on my partner. But as I kept doing that, I lost my sense of self. I wasn't doing the things I enjoyed anymore. It was only due to my lack of understanding that I didn't always need my partner, since I had a terrible upbringing. Now I watch anime by myself, and my partner is in the other room playing video games, and that is our space since we live together. When we started out, I did my own thing. It was hard, but I did it. Maybe she's been through a lot herself. When there's trauma in a girl's life, it affects her life. It takes a lot to get better with the healing process. I don't know her, but do you know anything about her past? Maybe she's like this because of that. Of course, communication is important. Story 83. You need to tell her that, unlike her, you value your alone time and need it. Also, you're not okay with feeling guilty whenever you take time for yourself. That's a part of you, and she has to love all of you. Maybe she should try to find hobbies or become more integrated in her own way so that when you're not around, she still feels like a whole person. If this is a deal breaker for her, then it's not going to work out. Story 84. I'm similar to you in appreciating my own space occasionally, but I have a friend who is just like your ex. Some people are simply clingy and do better with a partner who is similar to themselves. Story 85. I tried my best to explain this to my ex. Unfortunately, he needed someone more attentive than I was willing or able to be. I need a lot of time to myself. He couldn't stand being alone. Despite our chemistry and care for each other, we were not compatible. Story 86. Talk to her openly about your differing needs for companion time or alone time, and see if you can reach a balance that works for both of you. But if she isn't able to manage her social needs without making her happiness your burden, you should cut her loose. You won't be able to be her everything for long without building resentment toward her. Story 87. Hey man, I've been through this before too. Feel free to direct message me if you have more specific questions. I feel there is a lot you can say about it. To keep it short and sweet, a partner needs to be a part of your life, not your entire life. If you are her whole life, she is going to be miserable or you will be miserable. There's no way around it. It's not fair to you to feel bad about going to play basketball for a few hours. You need that time and deserve to be alone if you choose. Story 88. She might be anxiously attached and she might have borderline personality disorder. She might need therapy. When I am alone, I can live my own life, but as soon as I start liking someone, it's like I crave them so much. It's very unhealthy, I know, but just know she probably has trauma, and you have to love her demons and help her or move on. We all have demons, and when we choose to be with someone, we must both help each other heal them while also working on healing them independently. She might also like physical touch. I love physical touch. But yeah. Story 89. Even though I don't have a girlfriend, here is my advice. Talk with her if this situation really worries you, and don't stop doing what you do. She should have a hobby or something she really enjoys besides you. Maybe she could consider therapy to figure that out, unless she no longer wants to be in that position. It's not normal not to have friends because everyone has at least one person they can call a friend. Don't ignore potential issues too easily. No one is perfect without working on themselves over time. If she doesn't take your advice at least 3 times, it might be time to leave. I hope she'll understand, though. Story 90. One of the most important things in a partner is for them to be happy by themselves and with themselves. If they can't be complete and be someone without you, they will become an extra mouth to feed instead of a partner or an equal. If she doesn't have a life of her own, she'll take yours away. It's only a matter of time before someone with more free time than you, who, like her, has nothing else to do, can give her the attention she wants, and there is a high risk she'll leave you for it. Either tell her to learn how to become her own person and support her in finding her way, or break up. Story 91. I've often had this problem with women. They seem to want to be entertained more than men, or at least more than I do. One literally said to me, "I need to be entertained. I can walk, read, watch TV, play a video game, or do any number of things to occupy myself." However, it seems like all the women I've met, maybe I've been unlucky, just get bored easily. They always want to do something that generally costs money. Story 92. As the wise character a pimp named Slickback said, if she wants excitement, she can go to the movies. Joking aside, it's not very healthy for her to make you her sole source of entertainment. I understand she enjoys her time with you, and I hope she truly loves you, but she needs to find other ways to entertain herself, like hobbies and other interests. Wanting to be with you constantly isn't very healthy. Does she have attachment issues? I hope you both work through this and grow together. Story 93. It's crucial to have a life outside of the relationship. There might be attachment issues rooted deeply antisocial behavior, and the list can get pretty long and hectic. If you really care about her, you should find the time and space to sit down and talk about it. Hint at the fact that if she keeps this up without consciously and actively working on it, the life of the relationship will slowly decay. And if you don't find a way to communicate, you'll slowly resent her, which is even worse. Ask yourself how long you are willing to sacrifice your time, if you even are at all, and if being with her on your terms and boundaries matters to you. If it's nothing serious, just end it and save yourself the headache. People have to want to change for themselves. Story 94. You need your time. Don't change your lifestyle to suit her. Otherwise, you will end up resenting her. I had a girl like this for years, and I lost myself and became very depressed. It wasn't until I left and found that alone time I desperately needed that I felt better again. Unfortunately, I walked right back into a relationship like that, and it has taken years to regain any kind of independence. Focus on yourself, and if it doesn't work, don't pursue the relationship. Story 95. Reddit's answer to all relationship advice is, break up with her. How about starting a jigsaw puzzle with her and see if she begins doing it while she's alone? Story 96. Being smothered is difficult, and everyone needs time to themselves occasionally, or else you can start to get on each other's nerves. The best thing you can do is encourage her to go out, make some friends, and pick up some hobbies. Story 97. I feel like I was with you until you said, "It's only been 24 hours. I do feel that if you're serious about this girlfriend, you should be spending most of your days with her. Even if it's in a parallel play sort of way, such as having dinner together, then you play your game while she reads her book, but in the same space. That's the difference between a girlfriend and someone you're just dating. You seem to think you need to entertain her, but from what she wrote, she seems to believe the issue is spending time together, which doesn't necessarily mean doing something. I think you need to clarify what the issue actually is. Story 98. You have to find activities for her. Help her find her passion or hobby. It's not that hard. Communicate in a joking manner that you require personal time and how that's important for you. She won't mind, and it will hopefully get the point across enough to get her started. This is normal, by the way. Story 99. Been there. Super hard. I found reading to be an awesome outlet and joined a book club through my local bookstore. Story 100. I'm in pretty much the same situation. As stated by others, communication is key. It worked for me to talk with her about needing my alone time to restore energy. We are also figuring out what kind of hobbies she might like. We share one hobby but are trying to find something she enjoys doing on her own. I find it interesting that some people don't know what to do after work when no friends are available. Story 101. I was a little like your girlfriend in my past relationship, expecting my boyfriend to be everything to me. After a lot of therapy and self-awareness, I unlearned this. It might be hard for her to understand even if you openly and honestly communicate with her. This may be because of some past trauma and anxious attachment style, or maybe she is just not as secure as you are. You can try to talk and communicate, but I would also encourage you to suggest she start small, like reading for some time every day, painting, cooking, or small activities she can do around the house. Unless she tries, she would never know what interests her. It would also help if you can get her to sign up for some classes or an evening of socializing or meetups. You could go with her in the beginning, but eventually, she would feel comfortable enough to do it herself. Remember that this will feel like a lot for you, but also for her. I do agree that one person can't be your everything, but if she is lonely and doesn't have many friends, she is going to turn to you. People with anxious attachment styles do not do this on purpose. It just takes longer to understand it fully. Establishing your boundaries and communicating gently is essential, but trauma wounds can also take days, months, and years to heal and change. So if you really do love her, maybe try the things above and all the suggestions mentioned in this thread. Be gentle and also maybe have a deadline in your head. If you see no changes or interest to try to change certain behaviors, at least you know you tried and that it was beyond your control. Thanks a bunch for sticking around till the end of the video. Remember to subscribe, and until next time, stay awesome and goodbye.